You get all kinds of strong and impressive superpowered MCs in anime, but some of the most fun and greatest main characters are more than just overpowered. It's a real joy checking out a hero that is more than just OP, but a full-on badass, slick and cool, the sort of MC I want to be like. Great to see you again at Animeology. We've got a brilliant list of series you should definitely be checking out. Make sure to stick around because we're aiming for some recommendations you probably haven't heard of. These are some superpowered animes with insanely overpowered and ridiculously badass main characters. Number 10. Dramatical Murder. Based on one of our personal favourite science fiction novels of all time, Dramatical Murder has since spread into the manga and anime space to great levels of success. Although the visual novels really is on a league of its own, the MC of Dramatical Murder really operates on a whole other level of badassery. The series itself is definitely a bit more mature than you'd think, and the creators use that slick sci-fi setting to tell a pretty heartfelt and emotional romance tale that had us all involved from the very beginning. Although lacking the freedom of choice and branching storylines that the visual novels gives you, the anime opts for a semi-original and thoroughly fleshed out branch that is widely considered canon, following Abo Sagakai and 4 potential love interests set in the near future of a fictional Japanese island. This weird island has been turned into a strange resort for the ultra-rich, with the original residents forced to live simple lives. The main story really goes to many interesting and unique places, from turf wars to disappearances and virtual reality games with heavy romantic undertones. Number 9. Sugamomo. A fun comedy that isn't afraid of emotionally charged scenes wrapped nicely together with an awesome supernatural backdrop. Sugamomo started its life as a manga but has since dominated the anime scene with a recent revival kicking up a storm. Following Kazuya Kagami, a seemingly ordinary boy that finds his whole life turned upside down one day, a magical girl appears out of nowhere. Turns out that she's an object that has gained a soul through a close and peaceful relationship with its owner. Instantly, the two become somewhat attached to one another. As Kagami starts to learn of these fantasy beings that exist just underneath the surface, while also learning of the dark past that was hidden from himself, a slow burn reveal, a true nature and history of Kagami really had us hooked. A brave and courageous MC that isn't afraid to throw himself in the line of danger. You don't get much more badass than Keiya Kagami. Number 8. Twin Star Exorcists. This is a series that isn't afraid to get slick and stylish when it needs to. An epic adventure with a brilliant supernatural flavour, Twin Star Exorcists really shines with the brilliant chemistry of its leading characters. Starting as a manga and seeing huge levels of success as both an anime series as well as a game, there is a lot of Twin Star Exorcists for serious otakus to get into. Following the grim life of Rakuro Amando, a young boy that aimed to one day become a powerful exorcist, a horrific tragedy leaves his friends dead and forces him to abandon his dreams, meeting a well-known and famous exorcist, a girl known as Benio. The two form the Twin Star Exorcists, destined to marry and bear a child known as Miko. This child is prophesied to become the ultimate exorcist, capable of cleansing all evil spirits and ending a war that has gripped humanity for over a millennium. From this base premise, you can imagine that Twin Star Exorcists has a lot of freedom to explore countless themes. From romance, love, destiny, isolation, the list is really endless, and the series certainly covers these expertly. Number 7. Needless. One of the more seriously underrated series out there, Needless came out to a moderate level of hype but needs to be watched, bringing together a fun mix of comedy and science fiction with some absolutely brilliant fight scenes. Needless as a series definitely has widespread appeal. Set around the year 2130, the far future. Around 50 years after World War III, huge bombs littered the Earth, with the city of Tokyo replaced by a huge crater filled with contaminated rubble. This crater left by a bomb from World War III is known as the Black Spot, as is one of many across Japan. Filled with outcasts that gain insane powers due to their contamination, our MC is none other than Adam Blade. But trust us when we tell you that he gets far more badass than the name. With the brutish power of insane strength and accelerated healing, he only has a single weakness: cute girls. Number 6. Sirius the Jaeger. A Jaeger, for the uninitiated, is a hunter, and you don't get much more capable hunters than our MC Sirius. Set in the interesting world of vampires and supernatural, this action thriller had us hooked from the very first scene. Set in the fictitious 1930s, a group of vampires leave China and escape to Japan. Hot on their heels are the vampire hunters known as Jaegers. But Jaegers aren't just normal humans. A world of dark fantasy with werewolves and holy relics. Meet Yuli, a werewolf whose village was destroyed by these vampires. Chosen to be an ancient of God and wielding a mysterious holy relic with an insane level of power, Sirius the Jaeger does not disappoint. With some absolutely brilliant action scenes and some absolutely morbid story arcs, it's hard not to fall in love with this absolutely brilliant anime series. Number 5. Blood Ivers. Based on the highly successful Time Prisoners webcomic, the Blood Ivers anime adaptation was reasonably well received, but its mix of fantasy and action did not push it to the sorts of heights that a series of such high quality should deserve. With extremely interesting world building and backstory at its core, Blood Ivers tells the interesting tale of an odd case of insomnia that affected the entire human population. The whole planet could not sleep for a week. This led to a large amount of people to go completely mad with sleep-deprived rage. Fortunately, a cure was created with the horrible side effect of turning patients into vampires. These vampires are the titular Blood Ivers. Feared by most people and forced to wear a special necklace that informs the police if a Blood Iver goes rogue, the story kicks off in an interesting fashion. Following Mi Lu, a badass bank robber and a career criminal that gets caught by the police and sentenced to death until strange truths begin unraveling. Do yourself a favour and check out Blood Ivers for yourself. Number 4. A certain scientific accelerator. An interesting mix of science fiction and supernatural, this is a series that isn't afraid to really bask and enjoy its high-concept nature. A highly successful and long-running manga series, both the overarching plot points and side stories are some of the strongest we've ever come across. This great storytelling is clear throughout the anime. Our MC is the Accelerator. What a name! Extremely mysterious and calm even in the heaviest of situations. Our hero lets his power and battles do the talking. Protecting the Last Order and almost sacrificing himself, the Accelerator finds himself dragged into yet another battle involving another secretive and extremely sinister organization. Turns out this new secret society wants to get their hands on a seemingly innocent young girl. The only person that can stop this all is the Accelerator, one of the world's most powerful ESP users and his beautiful companion. The latest season has been announced, it's just a matter of time. Number 3. Kuaru Phantom Memory.
Bye-bye.
The clear vision and drive behind Kuaru is what makes it such a brilliant anime series. As opposed to most animes out there, Kuaru started off as a television series and was only later turned into a manga and light novel. An extremely interesting combination of sci-fi and cyberpunk with some heavy drama and some absolutely iconic characters guarantees this is a series you do not want to miss out on. Set in the distant year of 2100, we learn of this exciting new research into the field of alternative energy. Ranax energy, as it's called, truly does have the ability to change the world. The lead researcher, Dr. Amami, brings his daughter Kuura into a lab on her 12th birthday, but an experiment goes horribly wrong, and the young girl is struck by a bolt of energy. The experiment goes wrong, reforms Kaoru as this 12-year-old girl finds her body completely taken over by this Ranax energy. Not just a form of energy, but a sentient energy. This Ranax grows more powerful in Kaoru's body and grants her insane superhuman abilities. The explanation and backstory regarding this Ranax lifeform energy source is truly unique and highly captivating. We recommend you checking out this series as our explanation simply won't do it justice. Other than that, the young Kaoru turns into a very stylish and powerful young woman. Keeping her insane power as a secret, she is a freelance operative that works closely with the global police organization. Kaoru Phantom Memory is a series you really should just watch. Number 2. Scire. There's nothing wrong with a bit of light-hearted action. With some epic fight scenes and clear-cut motivations, Scire looks to polish all these classic anime features and brings forward the perfect package that is set to impress even the most highbrow anime fan. Set a few years after the strangest geological phenomena, the Great Uprising, as it's known, has enabled a number of people to develop extremely powerful weapons using their abilities. As opposed to traditional anime Altered People series, we slowly start to see more and more superhumans. As a viewer, you really get a view that shifts from traditional humanity into our next evolution. An epic battle between two warrior groups of alters, an interesting story through the eyes of Kazuma, an alter user that operates primarily as a mercenary, just trying to survive in this erratic and tumultuous world. The story is not afraid to go to some interesting places. Before you know it, Scire is talking about religious orders and parallel universes. A fresh watch that is highly engaging, definitely give this a watch. And number 1, Nunbaka. Sometimes it's nice to just kick back and have a good laugh. Most of you anime fans out there already saw the world of Baka and knew that idiot feature in some anime. This had us clutching our sides, rolling and laughing on the floor from the very first episode. Set in Namba prison, the story follows 4 young men that form such a brilliant foundation for some absolutely hilarious episodes. Extremely unique and contributing fresh perspectives, the chemistry between our lead characters truly ties Nunbaka together. 4 badasses thrown into absolutely ridiculous situations. To further complement this crew is a cast of interesting and hilarious side characters. Nunbaka isn't a series of good or bad, pure and evil, it's more of a hilarious story of a group of characters that you begin to love. Not just the main characters, but even the prison guards and the other inmates. Do yourself a favour and make sure you've got Nunbaka next up on your ever-growing anime list.